Lesson 6-2, Prime and Composite Numbers. By the end of today's lesson, you will be able to identify prime and composite numbers. For today's lesson, go ahead and copy down these two vocabulary words. They're the most important part of today's lesson. The first one is prime number. That's a whole number greater than 1 that has exactly two factors, itself and 1. The second word is composite number. That's a whole number greater than 1 that has more than two factors. And 0 and 1 are neither prime nor composite numbers. Go ahead and make sure that you have your pencil and paper ready after you write down those vocabulary words, so that way you can work through some of the problems with me today. So let's start off looking at the number 11. We need to list all of the factors of 11. This is how I always like to do it, so that way I know I'm not missing anything. I'll say 1 times 11 is 11. Then I go through the rest of my numbers. 2 doesn't go in there. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 don't go in there. And now I've reached 11, and that's over here on the right side, so I know I don't need to check any more numbers. 11 only has these two factors, 1 and 11. So that would be a prime number. So if we look at the example, number 25. And we need to list the factors of 25. Again, I always leave that gap, and you always start off with 1 times that number. And then I go through the numbers in between. 2 doesn't go in there because it ends in a 5. 3 doesn't. 4 doesn't. But I know 5 does. 5 times 5 is 25. I don't need to write both 5s down. You only need to write it once. And then that is the end of how many factors. So the factors of 25 are 1, 5, and 25. So that would make this a composite number. So let's try one together. I want you to try to figure out what all the factors for 24 are. So pause the video, see if you can figure out the factors of 24, and then push play once you're ready. So for 24, I have 1 times 24. 2 also goes in there. You know, I'm going to need to make that bigger. There, now I've left enough room. 2 times 12 equals 24. Then I have 3 times 8 equals 24. 4 times 6 equals 24. So now I'm right here in the middle. So now the only number left to check is 7. 7 doesn't go into 24, so now I'm finished. These are all of the factors of 24. Because it has more than itself and 1, this would be a composite number. All right, C for composite. So let's try the number 2. Go ahead and pause it and figure out the factors, and then come back and check and see if you got it right. So for 2, I have 1 times 2 equals 2, which means this would be a prime number. It's only itself and 1. That's it, so it's prime. So go ahead, and as you're working through today's lesson, make sure that you have your notes with you, and if you need to rewatch any part of the lesson, come back and rewatch any parts and have fun with today's math.